Do you ever feel like you have to beg someone for their love? Like you just want more from them and you're constantly fighting for it. This came up recently in a conversation with a friend of mine, and it made me think about times where I didn't feel whole in certain friendships or family relationships. And in those moments, I was fighting for these people to be different than who they were. It's like I found myself chasing after them, chasing for their attention, chasing after their love, chasing after them to make me feel better inside. Over the years and more recently in my life, I've learned that no one is going to be able to fill that hole. No one is going to be able to make me feel whole inside. If I feel like there is some kind of emptiness or hole in a relationship, then that's something that's on me. Because at the end of the day, we can't change people. We often think that we're being loving or supportive when we tell them how we think they should live their life or how we want our relationship to look like and all the things that they aren't doing and what they should do, for example. And all of these things have one thing in common. It's force. We're on the outside looking in at someone else's life and telling them how they should live it, what they need to do to change. The most recent experience I've had with this was with my dad, and it truly changed everything for me. I wanted our relationship to look different than it was. I felt like I was looking at other relationships around me or other friends' relationships with their parents and how often they spoke with each other and how often they saw each other. And I realized that I didn't really have that. I felt like when I reached out to my dad, he wasn't answering my texts as frequently, or I would call him and he wouldn't be there to answer the phone. And I took it really personally. I took it as if I wasn't important and that I wasn't loved by him. Meanwhile, what I learned was that he just wasn't a good texter and wasn't good on his phone or taking calls on his phone. But we make this ordeal in our head that these people have to be a certain way for us to feel loved. And at the end of the day, it's really up to us to feel loved, to give ourselves a love. What I did, and what I recommend to anyone going through anything like this, whether it's a relationship with a parent, sibling, other family, or friends, I stopped putting pressure on the person to be someone that they weren't. So I stopped reaching out to my dad as much by phone, like texting or calling. And what this allowed was space for him to meet me in the middle. Because when I was chasing after him by texting him more, by calling him more, thinking it was going to make him text or call me more, it actually created tension between us. For me, it created resentment because he was still not answering just as much as he was before. And on his side, I can only imagine that was overwhelming, that he was getting all this pressure from me. It only made him kind of want to pull back more. Like I was meeting him at 90%. I was putting 90% in and he was only able to put 10 in that way. Meanwhile, when I eventually stepped back and gave space for the relationship to be what it was, I became less resentful. I became more accepting of the relationship the way that it was. And he actually became a lot better at communicating with me by text or by phone call. Instead of me forcing text messaging and phone calls, I left room for him to reach out to me and to call me, and it just made things a lot better. Because nothing was being forced. And what you're doing by forcing is actually showing yourself a lack of love, a lack of self-respect, and a lack of self-worth. When I was doing this, I was causing myself more pain, right? I mentioned I had more tension, I felt resentment, but it was my own doing. I was creating this pain that by continuing to try to force something that just wasn't what it was. So by letting go, by creating space for him to meet me in the middle, I showed myself love in that way. That I don't need to chase, I don't need to force anything to feel loved. No one outside of me can make me feel that way other than myself. And it really changed my life because I now use this in all the relationships around me. It's really amazing how peaceful life can be when you stop forcing things, when you stop trying to force relationships, when you stop trying to force people to change. You actually feel more whole inside, and you'll notice that you feel more love from yourself than you ever have. Stop chasing. Let people show you who they really are. Let the truth come out about how the relationship really is, and give yourself and the other person the chance to create a healthy, mutually enjoyable relationship. And instead of causing tension and more harm to yourself and the other person and the relationship overall, you can take a step back and allow it to be what it is and accept it for what it is. And in doing all of that, you create more peace in your life. You stop feeling this tension, this anxiety of chasing after something that just isn't there. Letting go, stop trying to change people and allowing them the space to either change or just to continue being themselves, and giving yourself the space and the clarity to decide how you want to go about it. It's truly made relationships in my life so much better, and it's given me the clarity I need and the peace that I'm looking for, and it just feels really good. So just remember, you're the only one that can make yourself feel loved. You're the only one responsible for making yourself feel whole. You won't find that outside of you. Anyways, I hope you found this video helpful. It was a topic that really felt like was worth sharing, worth talking about, because I noticed this happening in so many people's lives around me and my own. And it's amazing how much better you feel inside when you stop forcing things, when you stop trying to change people. All right, if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.